24 people shot in just 4 days. And yes, you heard that correctly, 24. And that is just in the city of New Orleans.
We are the most spirited city in the country. I mean, New Orleans, without a doubt, is the most haunted city in the U.S.
I was devastated. I think I cried for a couple of days.
People of this community deserve to be safe and want to be safe.
And to me, that's always a hole in my heart because I got a void, I got an emptiness. I got my son here, but I don't have my children.
Why should we take them walks to them tombs? Why?
It's all the mothers that you know that lost some children. So how was he as a child coming up?
A mess. My husband taught him how to ride a bike on the corner of Derrick in LaSalle by the church, by the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
So when Teddy came in 2002, what happened?
And he said he wanted to try his hand in the rap game, in the music. And I said, boy, I don't think that should be playing here. I think that should be beat. Man, you don't never want to support me. I said, it ain't that I don't want to support you. It's just that I see the picture. I see the picture.
Did he talk to you when he signed with Quality Control? Because Quality Control, as you know, is like the biggest record label in the game right now. Did he ever say, Mama, I just signed with the label that the Migos on, or I signed with Coach and QC or any of that? How did you feel? Did you feel like, well, like happy, like, oh, it's about to be better for him, or how did you? You always was firm.
I went in my prayer closet, and I ain't came out yet.
Did you witness any turmoil in his life that was going on when the Moolah song was everywhere all around the country?
Yes, indeed. And he was, Mom, you need to move. I said, and you need to move too. Right on along from that life.
Did he tell you that he signed with Cash Money? I started working with Cash Money?
I said to him then, don't. Do not. Whatever you do, don't go that way.
So when he left Quality Control, like, did you feel better that he started working with Baby? Did he tell you?
No. No. My stomach did this. Because I said to him, whatever you do, don't go that way. And he did just what I said to him. What I said to him not to do. That's what he did.
But you was like, you was talking about like a signing bonus or something? Like,
had he not breached his contract with my son,
right,
my son would have been able to put a bread on the table for his daughter and his son.
So what he told you?
He said, man, this nigga ain't paid me. Just point blank, just like that. This nigga ain't gave me my money. And I asked him, I said, what is it that you need? Teddy being Teddy, man, I got this, I'm a man.
Take the crown away, let him stay. All he wanted me to do was be cool, stay in school. But the dudes that I hang with rearranged the whole attitude. When he died, I started hustling.
We grew up in the Uptown neighborhood, 4th and Baron, but his father from the Magnolia.
Oh, what's his father's name?
Christopher Jasmine. He was murdered though.
Yeah,
in the 90s.
Yeah,
early 90s.
BG made great songs about his father. How was their relationship?
Really good. Yeah.
How old was Jeezy when he got killed?
I'd say about 12.
Right.
About 12.
What was the situation behind his father's death?
Robbery. He was a seaman. And I mean, I guess it was cutthroat back then too. They knew he was coming home with their money and they just set him up.
The song, what was the song that Jeezy made about his dad?
Yep, So Much Death.
So Much Death. Okay, so how did you, when you heard that record, What did you think when you heard that record?
I broke down. That's all I can say. I don't even like to hear it.
When you found out that he started rapping, how did you take that?
I wasn't for it at first because I didn't know nothing about it.
How was you and B.G. relationship?
We had a good relationship, but I mean, they tried to block a lot of stuff. I mean, sneaking him to the studio, getting all this stuff made.
Right.
Chopper City was made secretly. I had to find out about it once they knew that was a big thing coming out. That CD was a big deal.
You talk about when he local, when he was like 15, 16?
Yes, that album, they was bringing him in the studio, recording that album.
So he didn't have your blessing to go to the studio at the time?
No. Okay. I'm really into blues. I mean, I never was into hip hop until they brought that to my attention.
How was your life at the time? Did you have any personal struggles you were going through at this time when he was working on his music?
No, but people lying and saying I did, but no.
So you didn't have any drug problem or none of that?
No, never.
Okay.
Never had a drug problem.
How did he deal with the success and all that?
I think it came too fast for him. I don't even think he understood what was happening. Officer.
What was he on parole for? He got in legal trouble during this time?
It was a gun he had got pulled over for that wasn't his, that a friend of his, it was for a friend of his that got killed. And the guy showed the judge the paperwork that it was his gun. But they just threw the other guy's charges out and kept my sons. I guess everybody didn't want to deal with Cash Money. They was getting big at the time.
Right.
And I think that had a lot to do with it because they always was in the courtroom with us.
And he from that point, that was his first time in the system, and he was stuck in the system the whole time.
That was it. That gun charge stuck him in the system. And it wasn't his gun. And we tried to prove it, but...
And this before they signed the big deal with Universal.
Yeah, that was before they signed the big deal because when they was holding him in there for about 6 months, Cash Money kept saying, look, this boy got to drop. We got this deal, this boy Universal keep calling, they kept getting me on the phone.
So he was in jail at the time?
He was in jail at the time that's why they had to drop Juvie.
Oh, you right.
See, Juvie dropped first only because my son was in jail. My son would have dropped first. He was the first project that was going to drop big.
Because, I mean, they got the deal off of the success of Chopper City.
Yeah, but we couldn't get him out. That judge was racist. And that's real. He was racist. When he was like 16, he was getting like $1,000 a night. That was before they got big, really big. I couldn't really control him. It was, I mean, Baby was giving him that money behind my back. Just giving it to him like it was legal.
Did you do any of that? Did you sign any contract?
I did sign a contract when he was 18.
No. What about when he was a minor?
Not before that, because it was just hard to get them to do anything then. But see, once he made 18, we was a little smarter. My sister was involved, and that's how stuff got done. Everybody had money. Might not have been the right amount. Right. Everybody had money.
Even Mama was straight.
Yes, indeed. I used to keep me 60, 70 G's in my account.
Lord, so what do you think caused the divide?
The money was coming too fast, and they didn't know. I mean, they never saw money come that fast before.
Oh, so BG didn't leave voluntarily? They kind of dropped him?
I think they wanted to drop him.
So you don't think Baby was doing the right thing, holding the money because he don't want him to open
in a way, yeah. In a way, yeah. But still, he didn't even want me to have it. Didn't want my son. I mean, he wanted it.
Oh, okay. That's what it was. Did you ever talk to Baby like, well, give me the royalties?
He always said he gonna do it. Give us the money. I got you. I got you. We family. Everything is we family. Baby just was learning that business himself back then. Right. And I'm not really taking up for him, but that's some real talk. Mm. He was just learning that money was coming like dope money, but it was legal money fast. That money fast.
Right.
So that's what, yeah, every night you making 100 and something thousand a night for them hot boys. A night.
Right.
You seeing that kind of money?
Do you think Baby and B.G. will reconcile and do music back? He'll go back to Cash Money when he get out?
I think he's gonna do that Hot Boy reunion with him. I would.
Does Turk, does Juvie, anybody reach out to you from Cash Money or reach out to Jeezy or anybody?
Just Baby will reach out to get one of his people to put the money on, you know.
But nobody called you? Dogs came out by Lil Wayne. You heard that song? What did you think about that record?
Fake.
Why you saying? Why you?
They just be sick, because I don't even, Wayne never reached out to Doogie, not one time.
But that was his bit. That's who ushered him in the game.
I know.
There would be no Lil Wayne if it wasn't for B.G. Really teach Wayne and took him under the wing and right.
Yeah.
I need you. So how was did Wayne used to come around you too? What type
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
what
Wayne
type of
used to
person was
always
Wayne?
come by, nice, good person, but he's somebody else now. But I mean, then yeah.
Why do you think Jesus stayed in the hood and stayed so deeply rooted when everybody's moving and going this way?
He said he loved his hood.
Why was he still hanging on Valence Day?
Because I left.
To the trouble.
I don't know. I left.
Did he ever explain why he just stayed?
Nope. He just said he's not going to forget his people. He wish he would have listened to me.
And not hung in the hood so much?
Yep. If he would have listened to me, he would never be in the hood.
Why everybody always talks about Baby, but Slim is an equal partner. How was the relationship with Slim?
Slim was everything. That was everything. He was the man. I swear, he was the sweetest. He's the sweetest. I can't say a thing about him because they still brothers. They still brothers. When they get together, they gonna stick together. They sticks together. But Slim is a good person, but they sticks together. Believe that.
A great representative of New Orleans. How was his relationship with Soulja Slim?
Soulja loved him. Soulja loved him. Soulja mom would say, Soulja would come to her and say, "Mom, I got to get out." He was in jail. I left Jizzle around my cutthroat friends, and Jizzle not like that. And when she told me that, I knew Soulja knew how my son was.
Right.
Yep. Because he really took a liking to my son. He was, I guess, because my son was real.
Right.
I guess he never experienced that kind of real, you know, being around all these cutthroat people.
Because B.G. ain't want nothing from me. Like
exactly.
He needed money or none of that.
Exactly.
You still talk to TD? What TD been at?
TD never came around at all. Matter of fact, I don't ever want to see TD again.
Why?
My son was good to him.
Right.
This man traveled all over. He kept TD paid.
Right.
TD was traveling every weekend with him.
I know. So what?
And for TD not to even contact me, just to see how I'm doing, I don't want nothing from him.
Who was around as a friend when B.G. caught that charge? Who was showing up to court or calling, how you doing, this, that, and the third? That type of time.
Big Wappy, Hot, Bear.
Right.
People like that.
Right. I know he missed Slim.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I know they would have made. They had an album. The album got leaked to the street. Was Jeezy in jail when that album came out?
No, somebody leaked that while he was on the street. And that hurt my son to his heart. That was leaked.
That nigga big. I want shot at my little nephew Derrick. Blood thicker than water, nigga. You know how we do this shit. We Williams for life, nigga.
All right, we're here with the legendary Lil Derrick's mother, Ms. Dorothy. What's your name, Ms. Dorothy?
Dorothy Harris.
And his younger brother, Mighty Lee, also hip hop artist from New Orleans, by way of Baton Rouge, or Baton Rouge by way of New Orleans. Traveling boat sets, 22504. Right. So tell us about your son. How was Derrick growing up?
Derrick was a loving child growing up. He loved his music and all, loved laughter and fun. Always knew that he was going to blow up one day. I mean, he always said he wanted to be famous, so.
We walk it like we talk it round, yeah. We don't be worrying about the feds round, yeah. We slang coke, weed and dope round, yeah. Stay in line and you get...
Like you said, he always been. At what age was he telling you that he wanted to be famous?
At a young age, around 7, 8 years old. He loved his music, and as he got older, he got deeper into it, so he loved it even more. But at a young age, he felt like he was gonna make it in life.
What area did he grow up in?
In the 10th Ward.
Did y'all stay in the Thomas?
No, we didn't stay in the Thomas. We stayed off of Main Street. The Swagman's posse.
Oh, okay, Swagman. Yeah, I know Swag. They turned the Swagman into some condos now.
Yeah, I seen that today.
Yeah, who I know? Pop from around there, and what Black Boy? And
Black Boy just passed.
Black Boy died?
He just buried Black Boy last week, I think.
How he died?
I don't know, but he was sick. I think he was sick, yeah.
And I seen him, he looked like he lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, Black Boy
one
just
time.
passed.
And T. Brown, I used to be all around with T. Brown. And
Terrell.
Yeah, he died on a motorbike a long time ago.
Maybe.
Well, he wasn't. He used to be around there. He
Okay, that's because it's not the same.
Okay, but so that's where he grew up. That's where he grew up.
Yeah, that's in the hood.
How was the son? Like you said, all people say about so much stuff, talk about him, and he's not here to defend himself.
Right.
But the child, you know, who was the child that you?
Right. The child that I know was loving and caring, would give the shirt off his back for somebody. And if he was down with you, he was down with you, you know. Like if he didn't mess with you, no, he didn't mess with you. He didn't act like I like you and I don't like you, you know. But he would give you the shirt off his back. He would look out for you. He was a child of laughter and love. He loved to make people laugh. He loved to piss you off and then laugh at you, you know. Right. But it's all through love. They have close memories.
Yeah. So how was your relationship with your brother?
One thing I could say, I could commend my mama on, like, she always made sure that we was close, even though it was a big age difference. I think mainly because of that reason. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it was a big age difference. So yeah, we had a close relationship. Like I vividly remember, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my brother.
What type of big brother was he to you?
Like, I don't know. For the most part, I feel like he liked to show me off. You know what I'm saying? Because
yes.
At one point, like I was like hard up into like books and stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm still am, but
nerdy.
I was like yeah, you could say I was nerdy then. Like, you know what I'm saying? So like I used to like. I guess you could say he was like big in vocabulary for my age or whatever. So he used to always like, you know what I'm saying, like, yeah, little brother, say this or say that, like, you know what I'm saying, or ask me something, you know what I'm saying. I remember that vividly. And yeah, I mean, like, that's the main thing I can remember. Like, he always did like to show me out, man, like, and just really wanted me to, you know what I'm saying, be something, like, you know what I'm saying. And then like we always, I remember like certain things he's always promised and stuff like that, like, you know what I'm saying, like. For us, like protecting our mother and whatnot, you know what I'm saying?
Right, most definitely.
Yeah.
They called each other brothers. They didn't call each other by name. They called each other brothers. And I told each other they love me. Oh, yes, I love your brother. That's what they think to them every day. So Derrick didn't call him Delvin. Delvin didn't call him Derrick. Their name was brother.
I'm going to touch on B.G. Derrick. To be honest with you, all Birdman didn't really want B.G. Derrick hanging around me because I was heavy in the streets. So there'd be times that he'd be trying to sneak by. Oh, come on, man, let me ride with you. But and I'd be like, I would want to. I used to want to let him, you know, jump in the ride so he can come and hang out, see the broad females and things of that nature. But then I'd be like, man, I'm heavy in these streets, we beefing, and if something happened to this boy while he with me, I ain't gonna hear the last of this. First thing they're gonna be saying, I done messed their money up, I done did this and this. So I remember one time when we was at a studio on Canal Street, and this at the time, I knew I could tell that a few of the other members, they didn't really like B.G. Derrick because he was kind of wild. He was always want to muscle his way around through the little group. So I could tell there was a little tension in the studio. So I was like, boy, come take a ride with me. So we jump in my QX4 Infinity SUV. We riding uptown. I got the QX4 with the broad chrome rim, mirror tint on. I got the license plate. What I'm jealous of myself on. I got a picture of myself. What I'm jealous of myself. Yeah, I was very cocky and conceited back then. So at this time, I got the Ruger. I got a 9mm Ruger with me, and I got 2 extra clips in my pocket. So we riding. We stopped at McDonald's. Got him some McDonald's. And we went to the project because I had to go check on a dope spot. And on our way out the project, one of the police officers get behind us. So I'm like, man, I'm on parole at this time. I got this gun on me. And he was like, oh, man, give me the gun, man. He said, I don't have no felonies, man. I'm good. And I look, and I'm like, man, Shorty little gangster, man. I like that. He was just ready to step up for me. So I was like, no, because I know if he go to jail for a gun, where he get the gun from, what he do, you know, whatever the case may be. So what I did was pull over, and this officer Red, I can say his name because he's been arrested now. So Red pulled me over. He was like, you know you ran that red light. I said, come on, man, the light was yellow, man, the light wasn't red. So he said, man, I got a question for you. I said, what's up? He said, man, do you got a gun on you? I was like, yeah, man. He was like, man, be careful, man, because there's this other officer, such and such, that be riding around. He wants you, man, he wants you bad. So I go in my pocket to give him some money, and the police was like, no, you good. So B.G. Derrick was like, nah, we got money, we got plenty of money. He pulled out a big old knot of money and tried to get the officer. The officer just looked at him, smiled, and walked off. And we went on back to the studio.
And Derrick was related to B.G.s Slim from Cash Money?
Those are my brothers. We have the same biological father, Johnny Williams.
Oh, Johnny, Mr. Johnny. Yeah. How many kids did Mr. Johnny have?
I got about 22.
22. Oh, okay. So did you grow up with B.G.s Slim?
No, I didn't grow up with him, but we all knew each other.
You all knew each other. Did you say back then, like when you were raising Derrick and Derrick was in the house, y'all, would you say you and B.G.s Slim had a relationship?
I would think so.
Yeah. Cause so how was his relationship with B.G.s Slim?
He idolized him.
Yeah. He looked up to him a lot. And do you think he started rapping because they had a record company?
No.
He was already rapping?
He was always talented.
Right. And how do you know when they started to work together? Like how did that connection happen where he used to start being around the Cash Money records label when he was on there?
They were his uncles. They was coming around him before they developed Cash Money Records. So I guess it just seemed he was talented too.
Okay, so they had a relationship before Derrick started rapping.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when Derrick started rapping, it was only natural that they worked together.
Right. Well, I assume so. Yeah.
Yeah. And so how did you feel about that when they started, like when you started seeing them going around in the studio or working with him then?
I mean, if my son enjoyed being into music, it's all good with me, as long as he received that same love back. So, as long as it was love, it was all good with me. No issue, you know.
Because Derrick always referred to himself as the fifth hot boy. You familiar with that terminology? Why you remember saying that about himself?
Because he didn't just say it by himself, because he originally was, you know.
So what happened? Why do you think that he didn't stay with the group?
I don't really know. Since I'm not the owner of the group, you would have to ask the group the owner of the company of that group that question.
Oh, so you think it was like David's decision that didn't culminate?
I mean, I would think so, because that's their group.
Right, I understand.
So I can't answer that because I wasn't the owner of that group.
He was getting his street fame. He didn't have to lean on the Cash Money.
Right.
He built a name for himself outside of Cash Money. With his own talent.
Right. God bless a child that has his own, and that's his thing. That's what he want to do. That's what Mighty Lee is attempting to do. God bless a child that has his own. That might Cash Money might be my family, but still, that's theirs. You know, we not jealous, envious of them. That's their wealth. That's what they struggled for. But God bless a child that got his own.
Hey, I got 10, and I'm trying to do 20 carats in my grill, platinum.
No problem, I can do that. All like that bling, bling blow.
Yeah, most definitely. And did Derrick ever speak to you about what happened between him and them, or why they never continued any recording contractual agreements or a recording music relationship?
He really didn't have to speak to me on it, because I am my mom and stuff like this here, you know. I just watch and observe.
He's an authentic New Orleans artist. Like
yes.
BTY Young'n's mother stressed to us explained to us that Derrick was heavily influential to him.
I met BTY Young'n, and he told me the same thing.
Yeah, that was like his favorite.
Right, he told me the same thing. I made him be built. What, at Tipitina's?
That was at the House of Blues.
House of Blues, yeah.
I know I can't repay you for all the love you gave me. I know sometimes I really drove you crazy, but I love you. Love, this for my one and only, and not another. You still love me after I put you through hell, mother.
Gabrielle Jerome. I am the mother of the deceased Desmond Jerome, known by BTY Young'n.
How was Desmond growing up as a child?
Very active. He was very smart, very intelligent. Always had A's and B's. As a matter of fact, as a young kid, they used to call him Tupac. and that never inspired him to be a rapper. He decided to start rapping, I think about the age of 15 or 16.
But keep it on like the Illuminati. Dope could take a 3 and still fight. You got him shook up.
Why did they call him Tupac?
Because he was the kid in the neighborhood that everybody knew. Everybody knew. And they just called him Pac for some strange reason.
Okay. Did that make him feel like make him feel special with that a nickname of such a prolific artist?
I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of. He never showed that to me. What made him start rapping, one of my nephew who is deceased now, we called him Bird. And Bird wanted him to do a challenge against a girl.
In the strip club throwing G's up. We ain't no bloods, but my youngest throwing B's up. BTY, I'm on parole rolling trees.
Which was also a friend of my nephew's. It was his girlfriend's cousin or something like that. And he wanted D, I called him D. He wanted D to challenge him. And D was like, nah, I'm not a rap. He was like, just challenge her. And ever since then, he started rapping.
When did you realize that he was taking it serious, that he was starting to see a little success from it?
Actually, when he came home in 2000, I think it was 13, he was more into making better decisions and just trying to stay on the right track. But yeah, he started focusing on his music a whole lot. He started, like I said, staying in the studios long periods of time, just focusing on trying to do the right thing.
Some niggas on the other side of town, like my little cousin E-Roll, he's a rider now, on that OJ shit, hopping out the...
So what type of conversations, like what did he share with you? What was his vision? What was his dreams, his aspirations, especially coming up in New Orleans?
For me, he just wanted the best for me. Like, Ma, we're gonna get this, I'm gonna buy you this big old house, you're gonna get the car. Like when he got the Audi, as soon as he got the Audi, he had just bought the Benz maybe like a month before. And he was like, Ma, I'm gonna go buy you another car. I'm gonna buy this Audi and I'm buy you a car. I'm like, it don't make sense for you to buy me a car and you have two cars, you one person. Just let me take the Benz and you have the Audi. And he was like, no, I'm gonna go buy you another car. I'm gonna buy you an Audi. We both gonna have Audis. And we're gonna give my daughter, we're gonna give none of the Benz. I'm like, no, we're not gonna do all that. Like I said, you give me the Benz, you just have the Audi. He was like, all right, well, when I finish all my paperwork, well, baby, we moving. As soon as I get it going, buy your house. I'm like, all right.
And that was at the time, we fast forwarded about 7 years. That was during the time with, yeah, because that was the time with Cash Money, right?
Right.
Yeah, and he came home the second time. He started, like, I witnessed, I remember when he, honestly, I'm going to tell you a story you might not know, but I remember when he first got out of jail, Raymond picked him up, or whatever. When I saw him, he got out of, we were at a video shoot with another artist who's sadly in jail for about 60 years, Flo, we were shooting a video, Flo was shooting a video, I just happened to be on set, providing something of the nature, and he pulled up, Raymond dropped him off. I didn't know who he was, but he was just like a lightning bolt of energy. He jumped out the car and like shut the video. Whatever was going on at that video shoot stopped when BTY got out the Escalade with Raymond. So, and then it was like, you know, he was loud, he was brash, he was confident, and then he just started rapping, and like he started a cipher. I don't know if they asked him to rap or did he just start rapping, but he rapped about 150 bars, and I was like, man, who is that? Just raw lyrics, raw, uptown, unadulterated lyric. He reminded me of Lil Derrick.
World when everybody was live. I was wearing state clothes when everybody was shy. I was starving like Marvin when everybody was eating. Following the G code when everybody was cheating. Took one for the team. Left a nigga looking silly. I was locked up when y'all niggas was free like Willie. Ain't sent a nigga nothing doing numbers with that dilly.
The second time around when he came out and he was hitting the streets hard, do you think he chilled out of a lot of the street activity?
He definitely did. He was a totally different person. And I was told that
he found, did he find some type, how was his relationship with God the second time around in jail?
Oh, he had a very close relationship with God. He'll come to my house. He'll discuss, of course he was Muslim.
He found Islam in prison?
He did.
And how did that feel for you? How did he let you know that he converted to Islam or reverted to Islam?
Well, I found out when he wrote the song, and I heard the verse, and I'm like, D, what is that? It was like, I'm Muslim. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what that is.
What song was it?
It's I Know the Way.
I Know the Way?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have that. And how did you react when he told you he was Muslim?
I liked it. It was a change. It was showing me that he was maturing. He was a totally different person than the Lil D that
the non-Muslim Lil D.
Yes, definitely.
So do you think that Islam made him a better person?
I think it did. It helped him mature a lot.
Did he explain to you, did he talk to you about the religion and what it stands for, or what it means, or what do you know from it?
No, he didn't go off it. Well, I know he just couldn't eat a lot of different things, because I could clearly remember cooking a meal and he was like, "Mom, what kind of meat is this?" And I'm like, "That's D&D," and he threw up. No, I'm lying. He threw up, and I'm like, "What is wrong with you?" I was like, "Why are you throwing up?" I'm like, "You got a baby on the way?" He was like, "No, what kind of meat is this?" I'm like, "Oh, that's D&D." He was like, "Man, I can't eat that."
What's D&D?
D&D smoked sausage, because it has pork in it.
There's pork.
No pork, yeah.
Yeah, his body probably rejected it.
It did.
Pork is poison.
Yes.
Number one killer of black people. Hypertension, high blood pressure, sodium. Okay, well, did you notice him praying a lot more?
Yeah, he used to pray a lot. He'll come there sometime, he'll go in the room and he'll pray. And I'll peep in there. And I liked that. I liked that a lot.
How did you feel when you started seeing him really turning up on Instagram, making a lot of videos, going live, laying down with the money in Miami, jumping on the cars, all the Instagram antics that made him more popular in the street?
I didn't care for that. I didn't like that. Because, the streets is so wicked. You know what I'm saying? That's not something I wanted to see him do. I just felt as though his words to me was that's getting his buzz out. So for me, I was like, could you get it out a different way? Because that's not something I like. Because as his mother, I was just afraid for him. Because I'm like, somebody might try to rob you or something. Don't be doing that.
The BTY Young'n that we saw on Instagram, did he act the same way when he was around you, or when the phone was in his pocket?
He's at the end of the day, he's respectable all day, every day, because that's how he was raised. I don't care how much cursing he do in the street. I don't care how much they say this, how much they say that. Can't nobody ever come back and say your son is disrespectful, because I know who I raised. I know I did my job.
Yeah, this your girl Magnolia Shorty and Courtney Hart. We about to represent for our boys.
We're here in the last standing bricks in the Magnolia Projects. This is the home of Magnolia Shorty. Juvenile grew up right here in this building. They used to crew DJs right in the front lawn. Many artists, Soulja Slim, Stone, legendary gangsters like Terrence Gangster Williams, Wacko, Tonto, many people from out the project, Mosquito, the Dooney Boys, legends that y'all can research. But we're here, and it's the last bricks, and we're gonna talk about the life of Magnolia Shorty and her coming up in this project, starting her career, and all the great accomplishments she's had.
My name is Brenda Lowe. I'm the mother of Renetta Lowe, Renetta Yamika Lowe, Bridgewater. That is my baby girl, my heart.
My name is Renetta Lowe. I'm Renetta Lowe's sister, oldest sister, firstborn.
My name is Oprah Lowe. I am the niece of Renetta Lowe.
My name is Corello. I'm the brother of Renetta Lowe.
My name is Latoya Lowe. I'm the half-sister of Renetta Lowe.
Who is Renetta Lowe?
Magnolia Shorty.
Magnolia Shorty was born on September 30th, 1982, to Brenda Lowe and Raymond Fletcher. Her daddy was a keyboardist and a singer who performed all around New Orleans and in local venues. She was raised in the Magnolia Projects by a mama who kept her in the church. Taken after her father, Renetta started writing raps in a notebook. Her sister took notice initially, and her mother discovered later down the line. Her family was 100% supportive of her music endeavors. Her mama bought her a tape recorder to help her sharpen her craft. Does anybody know how she got the name Magnolia Shorty?
Because my mother lived in the Magnolia Project. I was raised in the Magnolia Project, and my mother, she had to stay by my mother while I worked.
Soulja Slim actually gave her that.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Soulja Slim gave her that.
She was very smart in school. She was an A student in school, and my adopted son was 6 years older than she was, and she tutored him, and she was only 8 years old. That's how smart she was. Even in the nursery, she knew everybody's phone number by heart. When the teachers had to call when they left her at school, and they was trying to call somebody to pick her up, she knew everybody's phone number. The teacher was amazed that she did. I said, but she learned quick, and as she grew up, she got into this rapping.
I think I was probably one of the ones that contributed to her doing her music by bringing her to her first MC Hammer concert. She was like around 6 or 7. She took over the concert. Everybody turned around away from watching Hammer to watch her. She put on quite a show, and I was embarrassed. Like, I was like, girl, I told my mom I'm not bringing her anywhere else with me. I said, this girl took over the MC Hammer concert. So she was like, what she did? I said, she started dancing, and everybody turned and said, oh, look at the little girl, and wasn't even paying attention to MC Hammer.
She was doing these things and rapping and writing books and writing all this music in the book. She was like 10, 11, 12 then. One day I come home for lunch, and they was all out on the porch. They had a concert going on. And I said, who is that? They said, that's Renetta. I said, what? I listened to her. So she started doing concerts with them. Oh, well, that's good. So one night they had a concert at Mr. B's, and the concert had about 1,000 people there. I said, oh my God, she is the concert. Not just a lot of people saying she was the only one. She was the concert.
In New Orleans, music success has a lot to do with call and response as well as dancing. Bounce music. When that trigger man come on, that brown beat, somebody grab the mic and they just start commanding the crowd to move how they want them to move. And there was an energy behind Magnolia Shorty's music that electrified the city.
It's just me out that know ya, but like I said, they do that fucking monkey on it, just like a soldier.
After a wave increased through the New Orleans block party scene, she dropped Monkey on That Dick, a song that is widely considered a bounce classic. Her shows were so successful that she was approached by soon-to-be music moguls Ronald Slim Williams and Brian Birdman Baby B32 Beatrice Williams. Cash Money Records. They signed Magnolia Shorty and officially released the song, and it skyrocketed. She was the second woman signed to Cash Money behind Miss T, and she took the world by storm. She was on a roster with future legends like Lil Wayne, B.G., Juvenile, Turk, the Hot Boys. She collaborated with them in the beginning of the 1990s, first appearing on Juvenile's album, Third Wall Soldier, off his first release with Cash Money Records, Soulja Rap. They took in Magnolia Shorty as family. Birdman and Slim looked at her as a daughter, and Lil Wayne looked at her as a brother. Their bond stayed true all of her life.
She didn't never want me to hear the records, the songs that she wrote. And as she got bigger, I said, you'll never invite me to a concert. She said, well, Mama, I didn't want you to hear all of that. So she didn't want me to hear all that cursing and stuff like that. And I always told her, I said, that Monkey on the Dick, that's a song, that's not you. So that way I could receive the song in a good way. because that's not your image. It's just a song.
Well, I remember when she made Monkey on the Stick, I was young. I remember her. I remember walking through the project and seeing her and her friends shoot a video. And I'm like, just looking, I ain't really know what none of that stuff meant.
Well, if you listen at the song, it'll tell you she's not referring to herself. She's referring to her friends, like experiences that other people had, because she played the song for me because I was so upset with her for making the song. And she, at the end of it, it said, "Not me, I'm just a virgin with a capital V."
She was 12 when she made Monkey on the Stick. She wrote that at the age of 12. The next time I heard her song and people knew that was my auntie, I was going to Booker T and I was sitting on the porch. We was outside playing cards on lunchtime. And a car passed and the song came on. Them bad not F with my juvie. And somebody was like, "That's your auntie." And I was like, "That ain't." And then I was listening some more.
That's my juvie. That's my juvie. Any hot, any, don't wanna lose me.
I said, "That is my auntie." And then all of a sudden, she just came back out and, she was popping.
Got the streets on fire and I ain't stopping until I get it popping.
She was still giving the city everything they was looking for. At every club, every time they had an event, she was there. Like, everybody still was looking for her to come rock the party. It wasn't a party without Shorty.
I was young, just barely coming out the womb when her music came out. I ain't really gravitate to what was going on till like I was around like the age of 12 or something like that, when I could really like understand it. As like I'm getting older and stuff, I'm like, oh, she, wow. but she popping, like, and I'm just like, that's my sister.
Now let me see you. Now let me see you.
They just did what they wanted to do with it. That's why I was kind of angry with them, because they did what they wanted to do and didn't ask permission to do anything. That made me feel angry, and not too much. It's a hard fight. Everybody's using her music, and everybody's getting ahead with her music. I can't understand why they're getting ahead and we don't.
Hearing that she was about to be on a Drake song, I was like, wow.
Oh, I loved it. And I loved the pat on the back from everybody that I was getting, that the record was so successful.
I need that black card in the code to the safe, code to the safe, code to the safe.
I knew it was gonna happen regardless by the work she was putting in, the grind. It was inspirational. Like, nobody in the city was doing it like Shorty. She's the queen of bounce for a reason. Nobody gonna ever take that name away from her.
I was excited. Like, I know that's what she would have wanted. Like, all her life she worked hard to become worldwide and things, and she didn't get to see it, but I know
she did it.
She was definitely on her way. I remember her on a phone call with Baby and them. She was on her way. Every year Wayne would make sure she went to the she used to go to the awards every year.
Yeah.
And she was on her way. She was about to go back in and drop some real stuff. The world was about to just see her, but it's good to still see her legacy live on through other people,
She made a song with Birdman, actually. I never heard it come out, but I heard it because we had our things and I had a CD, but I never heard it like anywhere else.
From what I know, he was always one call away. And her relationship with Wayne was A1 all the time. It didn't matter what she called him for. She never really relied on him. But if she called him for something, it was coming through.
The legendary Six Shot out of the Magnolia Project. Introduce yourself, brother.
Six Shot, baby. You already know what it is. Uptown representative.
So Six Shot, you're from where?
Out the Magnolia Project.
New Orleans, Louisiana.
New Orleans, Louisiana, baby.
How was it growing up in the Magnolia?
Oh, man. Same like any other project, man. It was, we had our share of, we had a whole lot of rough times, It was rough, man. But, we made the best of it.
And who were some of your OGs? Like, who did you come up under around?
Well, me and Juve, we grew up together. Turk come under me, me and Soulja Slim. We grew up, that was one of my closest friends right there. Pee Wee. So this dude's off the, this old Magnolia right there, though. This old Magnolia, original Magnolia.
So how was it like growing up with Slim?
Well, Slim came later, around high school. Because I went to jail.
I didn't know that.
I went to jail because I was already, actually I was on the run when I signed with Lil Jon them.
Narcotics or marijuana?
Narcotics. I had a distribution charge, I had a probation violation. But to avoid that, I was trying to get a a deal so I can help ease the situation. They locked me up. They gave me 2 years for that. We in there locked up, you know, boom, we got the headphones on, we on the yard. Fucking countdown come on, my fucking song come on. My song come on, I'm in jail. Nigga like, man, I'm like every night that bitch going to #1, like number 6 tonight, number 7 tonight, you know, number 3. We in that bitch, everybody in the cell, like, you know, we jamming. I'm like, man, I'm in this bitch. Slim was a whole nother kind of entity. You know what I mean?
What type of, see, for people that don't know, we know.
Slim
what
was
type of entity was Slim?
He was
How was it?
He was Slim. You know what I mean? He was Slim. Slim was Slim.
I need to get my point across to the parents of these young children. Please, y'all, get y'all children. Get your babies. Because that slow walk to that sad tune I had to take is not a walk y'all want to take. Get your children, y'all. Grab a hold of your children. Because all I have is memories and a tune. You don't want that. I'm so exhausted from going to Mount Olivet. I'm just worn out. I'm worn out. Y'all get y'all children. Get your children for them other people, the men and them grown men, get your children, and then you be sitting in the courthouse all night begging and pleading, don't lock my child up. Do your job and get y'all children. Y'all always want to complain and talk about the city, but it starts at home. It starts at home. Get your children. Make your children your habit. Love your children. In order to be a mama, you got to come out yourself. It ain't no longer about you. Get your children. No, everybody can't afford name brand, but you can keep your children clean, you could keep them safe, you could keep their stomach from touching their back, you could keep them warm in the winter and cool in the summer. Get your children. Get y'all children, because standing here, I don't feel good. I don't feel good standing here. Ain't nobody in a million years could have ever told me I'd be standing here at a press conference for my son. Come on, y'all. Y'all gotta do better. Y'all can't keep putting everything off on everybody else. You can't put it off on her. You can't put it off on him. Y'all carried them children 9 months. Get them before you be carrying them behind the tomb like me. I'm telling y'all, get y'all children. Thank you.
Thank you, Mama Rose.
Contracts, jealousy, confusion. Because this is involved in it. Confusion. I saw that my child wasn't happy.
Even when the song was on the radio everywhere.
Money, evil money, money, dirty money. Money is evil. That lifestyle is evil. Thing with that life is demonic. It's demonic. Because it's turmoil. You know? I said it before and I say it again. It's deceitful and it's demonic.
And he got killed, he got murdered that night at the Waffle House.
The devil took my child. I had been praying and praying and praying and praying and praying. I mean praying vicious, hard, fasting. God was preparing me. I knew something was coming, but I didn't know that was going to be it.
How did you get the news, Miss Janine?
This little girl mama called me.
Have you found any peace or tranquility since?
Why should we take them walks to them tombs? Why?
This all the mothers that you know that lost some children.
You see, it's a difference in between when you lose your child, when somebody took their life as if they were in an accident or if they were sick. It's totally different. If my baby was sick, if Teddy was sick, I could handle it better.
Do you have plans to release any of his unreleased music?
No. No. You trusted too many people. He felt too comfortable down there. He felt too comfortable down there.
Man, Ms. Janine, what you told the district attorney?
I say, whatever you do not say the word closure around me.
That was his first pitch, that I want to bring closure to the
You cannot bring closure to this hole in my heart. You can't do it. You can't do it.
I was looking at the DM
that he sent me right before he passed. And I'm in Atlanta, fam. I made it last night, wanna come chop it up with you. I want my career back, bro. I wanna do it with you, big bro. Real talk. And it was all love, man, but at the time when he was just reaching out, man, we just had done elevated so much. Yeah, so, and we just didn't have time. And you know, when I heard what happened to him, it's just it's crazy, man, because you know he was very talented, and I know he got kids, and you know what I'm saying. Overall, I feel like he was a good dude. I just feel like the pressure of this business and wanting to win so bad. Sometimes the ball roll like that, you know. But it's unfortunate that he lost his life, and I was very sad, you know, for him and his family. Here we go. It's a good picture. When did you realize your son was addicted to heroin?
When his probation officer called me and told me that they found opiate in his system, and I'm like, what is opiate?
Come on, you didn't know he was on dope then?
No, I didn't even know what opiate was.
But you didn't know about heroin in the streets?
Never knew about it. Why would I know about it?
I mean,
I wasn't brought up around it.
Right,
don't come from that type of family.
Right, I know it was just big in New Orleans at
Yeah,
the
but
time.
I wasn't introduced to it.
Right.
And I'm glad.
Okay.
I made it.
Right,
I made it.
Right.
I dropped the phone when she called me back the next day and told me what that was. Because she didn't even know, and she was a probation officer.
I heard he overdosed in the studio one
But
time.
I never was with him, but yeah.
But you heard about that?
Yeah. Sometimes it was out of town. Like, I be shit. I mean, it would be on the radio before a parent could even find out. So I would be devastated, about to fall out, faint.
Did Jeezy ever talk to you about his addiction?
No.
He never said, "Mom, I'm trying to get clean. Mama, pray for me, Mama."
I ripped and ran. One thing he had a supportive family behind him. He'll tell you when his book come out. You'll know.
Right.
He gonna tell it all. It ain't last, but I did my part.
Right, I got you.
My name got cleared up. I made sure I was there. I made sure when they called me, I was there. I ain't never had a bad.
Listen, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Might be saying something. They don't even know me.
The streets ain't saying nothing bad about you, baby.
They got videos on YouTube. Nah, none of that shit ain't true.
Fighting against the gyms and the evil spirits in New Orleans.
I done put him in rehab 3-4 times. Been flew all out of town, putting him in rehab.
What would it take for you for him to relapse?
Probably the same day he come home. After going there paying $18,000 cash. I'm just scared for him to come. It's terrible out here now. I'm scared the drug problem, the heroin, not even what it is.
Yeah, it's covered fentanyl. Yeah, it's even worse, people.
And I'm scared of the hating people, the people that's mad that he didn't rat, the people happy he rat. I'm just scared.
Right. Does he want to go to Atlanta when he get out?
He want to go, but he said he not telling me where he going at until after he get there.
Right.
Because I'm gonna be done told everybody, he say.
Right.
But I wouldn't do that.
Do you think you suffer from trauma, from just having to witness your son go through all this stuff and go to jail?
I'm crazy now, yep.
Like what type of symptoms you think you suffer from?
Every now and then I cry.
Right.
Here we are on Valence and Magnolia, the 13th Ward, New Orleans. This is the streets and the neighborhood that raised B.G. You see us talking to B.G.'s mother about his childhood, his upbringing, meeting Cash Money Records, his drug addiction. And I want to take this time to champion B.G. for overcoming that drug addiction and getting that monkey off his back. He's one of the most resilient, strongest human beings that I've ever had the pleasure to meet. And we must champion B.G. for overcoming those obstacles, making it out the treacherous streets of the 13th Ward in New Orleans itself, Chopper City, a name that he coined for this city. This neighborhood you see now is not the neighborhood of the 90s and early 2000s. After Hurricane Katrina, the neighborhood has changed. Now, we must applaud B.G. for standing on principles and the morals and ethics that he believes in by not cooperating when he got charged for his federal indictment. And of course he was punished for that. He got an excessive amount of time in his sentencing. So we want to welcome B.G. home as he finishes that part of his journey, and may God bless him as all his endeavors, and may he be successful and flourish when he comes back and be embraced by New Orleans and the rest of the world. Thank y'all, and have $1 million day.
October 31st, 2002, in the city of New Orleans, Louisiana, my son, Derrick L. Williams, known to many as Lil Derrick B.G. Derrick, 10th Ward Derrick, bulletproof, was gunned down on the streets of New Orleans, Halloween, October the 31st, 2002. And this Halloween, tomorrow, will be 19 years that my son has been deceased. And I am making this video as a tribute to my son of his life and death in New Orleans.
OGs on the halves, ATs kicked in the lab, 20 G's worth of slabs, 100 G's and snaps, 2 crates of AKs. My people got cake, so I'll be home in 2 days. Sugar sent me, baby, got the charges threw away. Get a judge a half a minute, told him have a nice day. Sugar sent me, baby, got the charges threw away. Get a judge a half a minute.
Your son, you love him, you know him since birth. You gave birth to him,
right?
And you raised him up. But how did you? Were you aware that he was also living a dangerous life in the streets?
I mean, everybody got their ideals and concepts of what they felt like Derrick was living a dangerous life in the street. Now, dangerous life in the streets when you're out there murdering somebody, murdering this and that person, all of this here. You know, we all came up with probably like, you see, with the environment of hustling and all of this here. But I think I hear more talk about Derrick living this type of life since he's deceased and can't speak for himself, opposed to him being alive and what I know him as my child, you know. And every mother wants the best for their children. I ain't gonna sugarcoat and say I had a perfect child, you know, because Derrick was a person like, you mess with him, he about the drama with you, you know, but he don't go around just messing over you just to mess over you, you know. So that part of his environment is like he good people, but just like you want to eat, he want to eat, and that, you know, everybody out here to eat. And then somewhere jealousy kicks in for somebody when a person trying to make it. That's all I see out of it, you know.
Right.
I call this your sense of jealousy.
When he was at the peak, when opportunities getting booked for shows and opportunities for him to expand his music career is happening, Derrick gets murdered.
My heart gets shattered.
How did you find out the information? How did you find out you lost your son's life?
Taking my baby trick-or-treating, and everybody looking for me. And you know, when I get to my house, I got a house full of people, but I really don't pay them no attention. But a girlfriend of mine, she met me and she said, "Come on, dirty." When she said, "Come on, dirty," I fell to the ground because my baby in my hand. That's my other baby there. That's my first baby, you know.
Your son lost his life. Derrick lost his life. He was in Pigeon Town at the time, huh? What was the situation behind that?
That was like Toledo and Liberty. That's.
Oh, he was in the third one?
Toledo and Liberty.
I always thought it was in Pigeon. So what happened? What was the situation?
If I knew his situation, I probably could tell it to you, and I can have peace of mind, my own self, because he's a cold case. I can't say what happened because I don't know what happened. I know I live every day of my life with a hole in my heart, a void that can't no man give back to me, you know. And I just, you know, I just pray my son's soul as well, because above music and all, I taught him about God first, you know, so. And he told me, I pray every day, Mom, so, you know, I'm well with that.
He had a strong relationship with God?
He had a strong relationship with God. He got baptized, I think, when he was like even 18 or 19 years old.
Oh, you got baptized, like for the second time, 18 or 19?
For his very first time.
That was the first time? Okay, 18 or 19?
Mm-hmm.
And he passed at 21?
Mm-hmm.
And he got killed in the house or outside the house? Or?
From what I understand, I didn't get to the scene, so I wasn't there, but it was on the outside, on the street, on Toledo and Liberty.
Like, and another thing with that, bro, like you said earlier, like, these, like, I can't speak for, you know, everywhere else, but I know I could say, like, for people out here, like, this is authentic, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta realize, like, these real street dudes trying to turn rappers, and you gotta think, like, if you did something to somebody, these people out here, you know what I'm saying? Like, they family, like, you wrong somebody's family, like, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta think about it. Somebody somewhere seeing you on the TV every day, you know what I'm saying? They see you doing shows. They see, you know what I'm saying? So
they hear your music.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's hurting people, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like, it's the law. Like,
do you think that was the case with your brother?
I can't say that with the Bush, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think it was.
I can't say, but
I don't think it was. I actually think it was jealousy.
So you think somebody was jealous of him?
I think nobody you was jealous and didn't want to see him come up. And before you see him come up, you better see him buried. And to me, that's always a hole in my heart because I got a void, I got an emptiness. I got my son here, but I don't have my children.
Damn, they got my son arrested. They arrested him for attempted murder.
I was devastated. I think I cried for a couple of days.
How were those phone call conversations?
Crazy. He was the type of child, like, he never wanted to tell me stuff that he would think that would worry me. Right. Like, we had a very close relationship. But when it come down to things going on in the street, I never hear it from him. When he went to jail in 2010 for shooting the young man Keith, that's known as Magic. He pled guilty. I think they dropped it down to a lesser charge, and he pled guilty to that. And that's when he did the 3 years. When he was murdered, he was actually on parole. I think for like 5 or 6 years.
So parole from that charge, like from getting out, because didn't he got out at what time from the thing with Magic? When he came home in 2013, how was he? Did he come back to living with you?
No. He went and stayed with his girlfriend.
Okay, well, how was he then? Did you think the prison changed him in any way?
It did. It changed him a lot. He matured a lot. He matured a heck of a lot. He was a different person. That
was right before his untimely
So, like,
demise.
in 2013, it's like everything went, because he was home maybe what?
Didn't he go back to jail?
You know what? That's what it was.
Yeah.
He went to jail. He went back to jail for, but I don't know, it was, somebody was, he had an altercation with somebody, and he was driving. I think the car wound up being wrecked up really bad, and somebody wound up shooting at him. That's what it was. Somebody was shooting at him, and the police, he wrecked the vehicle, and when the police came on the scene, they wound up taking him to jail because somebody told the police that they seen him with a gun. So he wound up going to jail for that, and he stayed in jail because he was still on parole. So he had violated his parole, and that's when he was able to come home. Maybe like I think it was a year later, if not a little longer.
When he went back to jail for parole violation, how was it the second time when he went violated? Like, what was the conversations like, or the letters like between you guys?
I was very upset when he went to jail because I was upset because he was the victim in this case. So I felt as though they were picking on him, taking him for no reason. Like, you didn't find a gun in his vehicle, you didn't find a gun on him. So what is your reason for taking him to jail? They told me they was taking him to question him, and they wound up locking him up. Went through that process. Like I said, I'm not quite sure how long that he stayed in there, but our conversations was like, just to come home, stay focused and do the right thing. And he went to jail in Pigeontown, and I definitely wanted him to stay from back there. That was most of our phone calls, and him staying on the right track.
I just, as a mother, I know you probably didn't know like some of the intricacies of what was going on in the street. Is his name ringing, or him working, putting up posters, pressing up CDs.
I do know about that.
Yeah. How did that make you feel to see your son come home with the vigorousness to really try to in the drive to accomplish his goals, and how did it make you feel seeing that, and then seeing success come from it, and hearing stories from other people that he's being welcomed in the streets as an authentic New Orleanian hip hop artist, gangster rapper?
It definitely felt good. I was definitely a proud mother, but I was also afraid for him at the same time because I know what he was going up against. I knew what he was dealing with.
What he was going up against? What he was dealing with?
Well, I knew that, he used to tell me, like, I know people want to kill me. Yeah, they won't kill me just to say they killed BTY. Of course I know that. He told me that kind of stuff. I knew that. And that's what made me, like, if I, like, some nights, I had a lot of sleepless nights, you know, worrying about my son because of things I had been hearing and things he knew that I knew that he would tell me stuff like they wanted him dead just to say they killed him. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and say my son was no angel at the same time because I know he had his little things he did in the street.
How did you hear the news that your son was murdered in the streets of New Orleans?
I'll never forget that day. I was leaving a birthday party for my niece. And I called him. I'm like, D, what you doing? And he was like, I'm out my why was up. I'm like, you hungry? Because wherever I go, I always call him to make sure he hasn't ate. Do I need to bring him something to his house or whatever while I'm on my way home? And he was like, I'm like, you hungry? He was like, no, Mom, I ate already. I'm like, you want me to just go drop you off the food? He was like, no, I'm going to be going there myself. I'm good. Because at this point, I had the food because I already fixed it anyway. Because like I said, I'm always wind up having to drop him off, bring him something to eat on my way home because that's something I do. And at this point, I'm on the interstate. So by the time I literally made it in my door, going up the steps, I get a call from KJ. And I just hear her screaming and hollering in the air. I'm like, calm down, I can't not hear you. And he was like, mine. I'm like, what, KJ? What's wrong? And he was like, D shot. I'm like, what? I can't hear you. You know, I hear him, but I just want to make sure that's exactly what he's saying. He was like, he shot. And I just ran back out the door. They didn't know what direction I was going or nothing. I just ran, got in the car and pulled off. Me and my daughter. And I'm calling him, but I'm not getting no answer. So I'm like, let me call. I told my daughter, I'm like, call KJ to find out where D at. No answer. So at this point, I'm calling his girlfriend, Kiva. So I'm calling Kiva. I'm like, trying to get in touch with her. I'm calling everybody. Nobody, Kiva, I can't get no answer from Kiva. So I'm like to my daughter, I'm like, this not the truth. So that's when we was able to get KJ. I'm like, KJ, where is D at? And he was like, he on the ground. And I'm like, where y'all at? And that's when he told me they was at the gas station at Shell on Airline. I get to the gas station. And that's when I see my baby on the ground. And I'm just looking like, this can't be real. It's like you see something, but you're not trying to see it. But it's really happening. It's really going on. From April 29th, 2017, my life has been miserable. No lie. I have my daughter and I have my grandbaby that I'm very much grateful for. But from that day, it's like the devil just took over.
On Monday, December 20th, in 2010, it was a somber day. Magnolia Shorty was heading to her apartment in New Orleans East before leaving town for a show that she was booked for, and she was with a companion, Jerome, an artist that was trying to learn from Magnolia Shorty the game. They had a relationship. He was a G out the project, a Dooney boy. And as she pulled into the gates, another car pulled in right behind them, cut them off before getting out and opening fire in broad daylight, jumping on the roof of the car and shooting into the front windshield. None of them made it out alive. When the news broke, a lot of people in the city was in denial. People fled to the apartment complex and stood around looking at the murder scene. It was completely unbelievable. And she was hit 26 times. The gruesomeness and uncanniness an appalling scene that happens too often in New Orleans.
She was with the little guy that she was trying to teach how to do the music after he got out of jail. So she was bringing him as a hand, because I saw her that Sunday when she brought me his Christmas present, which that was that Monday she got killed. And the boy was, everybody wanted to kill him. I don't know who he killed.
She was supposed to be going on to catch the airplane to go to Miami to do a thing with Birdman, a song or whatever with Birdman.
They spotted him and followed him across the interstate. They just wanted him just that bad. They didn't care about nobody else. So that was the hit that they put out on her and just tore a whole lot of people's lives up.
I had a face like when I went in the courts and I saw those guys sitting there, and I looked, I see a lot of those guys I work with in the jail. Like, I had no idea they was affiliated, you know, with this crew, this gang.
They didn't take that jury over 5-6 hours, because I think court let out at 5 o'clock. By 10 o'clock that night, the verdict came in.
Yeah, they were sentenced to life.
2 to 3 and 4 lives.
Yeah, life for her life and other people's lives.
Yeah.
But the one who shot the first bullet knew that was her. He knew that was her.
He wanted that boy, and he got tired of waiting for him.
But he didn't tell the other guys that.
As we went to court, when the man asked him, did he know that was Shorty he killed? He said, no, me and Shorty was cool. I didn't know that. But I went on a run with him.
I go to my phone, I get some missed calls from Oprah, so I call Oprah back. I'm like, what's going on? She like, Renetta dead. I'm like, what? I just dropped the phone and started crying.
I had then took a nap, and when I woke up, his mom was like, oh, they said it was a boy and a girl who was killed. I said, a boy and a girl?
After hearing, you know, that it was a male and a female, something just told me in my spirit to get up and go around there. I said a prayer in the car. I'm out en route there, and we saw the police and the detectives with the yellow tape and the cones. I fell out after he said, I'm sorry, she's gone. And I was like, I just fainted. I think I fainted. It felt like a dream as long as I was on the ground. And once I got up, the reality just really set in that she was gone. It was a horrible day for me. And it was, you know, the worst day of my life.
I do think this is a demonic city. If you do your history on the city, they built the city on nothing but evilness. If you have a chance to get out the city and do something better with yourself, then leave. You can always come back, you can always visit, you can always see your family. But if you're trying to be bigger and better and your family care about you, then they'll respect you for saying you're leaving.
If you have that platform, even though you probably don't have the resources to do it, but I think you should get away.
Sometimes you outgrow the area, the environment.
New Orleans, we have a lot of haters here. We have a lot of jealous-hearted people that hate to see other people make it and get somewhere in life.
Magnolia Shorty funeral was held December 30th, 2010, 10 days after her death. It was at the 5th African Baptist Church in our hometown of New Orleans. It was uptown New Orleans. And when I tell you, the streets was packed, people was all trying to get in the church. They was all in a stairwell, all on side the building, peeking through the windows. Every pew was full. And the pastor did his job to captivate everybody that was in attendance. I happened to be in attendance. Birdman was there. Wayne was there. Cash Money came to support. They paid their respects, and they paid for the funeral. There were over 2,500 people in and around the church. Juvie was there. Mac Main. Everybody was there to support this local legend, this beautiful spirit that captivated New Orleans and sent her off in a good light. And of course, you know they had a second line all through uptown, passing by the Noya, carrying her casket and body through the streets of New Orleans one last time. Magnolia Shorty.
He said, don't worry about looking for no policy, I got everything.
He was like, you know, that real, I said that's real. He was like, I'm passing on the message. Tell everybody don't worry about nothing. She good.
I think the city was surprised that Cash Money showed up for her. Wayne being at the height of his career at that time.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Baby them being big
That's
and
some
coming.
negativity.
How did y'all feel when they showed up?
Oh, I felt good about it. At least I know they cared. They cared more than people thought they did by showing up. They risked their career and their upstanding lifestyle to come to acknowledge Shorty. That's how much they love Shorty. And she was real close to Baby. They wouldn't have probably missed come and say goodbye to her for the last time for nothing in the world.
I was in there. I was numb, you know, for throughout the whole process. And when we said our last goodbyes, I had to give her a hug because I wanted to, you know, just hug her before I said goodbye.
When I walked outside, I could have passed out. When I saw all of those people out there, I had no idea that it was going to be that many people.
The first time she took me to a club, we went to Sam. I had a good time. I had fun. I was young. I think I was like 15, 16. And after the club, we went to Tasties. And I fell asleep on the table. She was on the poker machine. And when I woke back up, the sun was out. I'm like, my mama gonna kill me. She was like, yeah, you all right? You want some donuts? I'm like, man. I remember she took me to the daiquiri shop one day. I was 15. And I'm in the daiquiri shop. She always used to get me in places that I didn't belong. She had me everywhere when I was young.
What I could say about Renette, my little sister's personality, it was never a dull moment around her. She always kept us laughing.
She was always the life of the party.
I miss the laughter around her. I never met anybody else that as unique as my little sister. Right before she died, I realized how great my little sister was. And as soon as I recognized it, it was like she was gone.
She was so well known around the city. Anybody could be like, oh, Renetta, your brother out here. She'll pull up out of nowhere. I'm like, I didn't call you. How you get here? It's like, don't worry about it. What's going on?
Renetta was like, she was like a big sister, but she was more like a second mom to me. She taught me a lot, and I really appreciate having her. She made me feel like I can do and become anything and do anything that I want to.
You just put your all into what you do, and that's gonna make you do it better. You heard me? All right.
I didn't think it was possible, but seeing her and seeing the things she was doing and watching her come up, I was like, wow, I can do anything I want in this world.
I'm so Magnolia. Much love, you heard me? Come here, girl, Magnolia Shorty. I thank y'all. Put your wines up. Put your wines up. Put your wines up. Put your wines up. Come on, come on.
How, you one of the ones that made it. How come we got so many rappers that died?
Yo,
so many
so
rappers
look,
that
man.
went or whatever. Just,
so yo,
what's the spiritual
that's
powers
true.
that
And
play
dig this, man. We lost a lot of motherfuckers out here who was on the same grind, especially the same grind as I'm on. So it's a responsibility that I feel for sure, you know what I'm saying, in regards to the ones who didn't make it, like Lil Derrick for sure. So, I mean, it's obvious to say Slim, of course, man, but as of late, like BTY Young'n Greatness, just motherfuckers who never really got a chance to get their foot in the door. And I'm not even all the way like earned. I have underground success, but just the taste that I had is enough to make me sad for the motherfuckers from my city who got stole before they got a chance. Because just the minute taste of success that I had has changed my family lives in such a way that I know if Young'n Greatness was around or BTY was around, that impact would have allowed them to do shit for their families, and they deserve that shot, you know.
Why do you think we keep falling short, though? Why do you think it's all...
Look, man, well, you know what?
Sad story like a float.
Because everybody is... We too close. And I would never say you gotta go somewhere else to make it. But I know you done heard people tell you that before, like you gotta go a way to do it. And you damn near do, but you don't. But look what happened to everybody who don't venture off to do it. just everybody knew the name. And that's both sides of the coin. Either you get stole or decisions and shit happen and you in jail for a long ass time. My big homie see murder. Just look how shit go, you know? Two of my big partners, for both sides of the spectrum. Slim in the grave, C in jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, fuck it, man. You know.
Where were you when Slim got killed? How did you hear it?
I was actually at Carrollton Shopping Center. I got a phone call from Lil Levy. Lil Levy was running with him. Went over there, Slim on the lawn. Nobody out there. So I'm out there with him. And, you know, Slim usually keep 1,000 little dudes around him. The way I hear it, they was upstairs. You know, Slim had the studio upstairs. Slim was by himself, went to the store, whatever, around the corner from his mom. I guess the nigga followed him. Nigga got him when he came out the truck and shot him. They say they had a bunch of guns, so everybody left. I don't know why, but what nobody there believing.
Nobody called the police?
Levy called me.
No ambulance, no police?
No.
Nobody had the idea to call to help? So do you think if the ambulance would have been called, you think we could have saved his life?
No, he got shot twice in the face. It was nighttime. Then after a while, the word spread, and a bunch of people started coming out. The police came out, and the body was just still. I mean, he was on the lawn like about 4 hours. You know, my body laying out there on the lawn 4 hours. Nobody ain't doing nothing. It's like a show going on now right now. You know what I mean?
At the time,
I was feeling fucked up at the time. You know what I mean? Like, what could I do? I could say what I did moving, but that ain't. Come on, man. So we was just out there.
Did Slim get to reap any of the benefits of his hard work? See the fruits of
Not
his
like
labor?
he wanted. Not like he wanted.
New Orleans is very unique. We have the richest, most original black culture in the world. We have people from all over that mix to create the New Orleans. African ancestry, Haitian ancestry, French ancestry. And we took all that and we made it ours. We want to highlight the personalities that planted seeds in this city that bore fruit that influenced the world. From slang, from how you talk, how you dress, the music that we make, the way that we walk and talk.
What do you think New Orleans played a factor in your son losing his life?
New Orleans is a jinx. That's a jinky town. That's a jinky place. Soulja Slim, Magnolia Shorty, the little short boy BTY, and the list goes on and on. So what else could it be? Listen, you can't fight a demonic spirit in the flesh. You gotta fight a spirit with a spirit. And that place is demonic. I don't know how he lasted mentally as long as he did.
His career has been tumultuous the whole time, going to jail, going to rehab. Now he gets sentenced to this long sentence.
I think it's New Orleans.
What about New Orleans?
This place is cursed. So I was really raised in Virginia, came here and got to learn all this mess here. Totally different in Virginia. The environment, the people not evil. So much evil here, so much hate. I ain't know about hate until I moved here. Jealousy until I moved here. I had to learn jealousy here.
Right. So you think all that plays a factor in why a lot of our talent can't flourish?
I think it's New Orleans. And my son don't want to come back here.
Do you think it's a coincidence that a lot of our New Orleans talented artists lose their lives right as they're getting to accomplish their goals or getting the notoriety or fame they seek, accomplishing their dreams?
Some people get big-headed, but to me, we have a lot of jealousy and envy in our city. And probably not just our city, all over the world. I ain't gonna just say our city, but we known for it, you know.
We known for killing our own rappers.
Right. And it's because before I see you come up, I'd rather see you go down, you know.
Like, it makes New Orleans like that. You grew up in New Orleans. I mean, you've lived in Baton Rouge. What do you not feel a different energy there? What do you think? Why do you think there's a culture
of violence, no remorse. Well, I mean, the value of life is very small, where somebody could kill your son and not.
Almighty dollars.
Yeah, and there's no repercussions. There's no investigation. There's, you know what I mean?
Right. I mean, with Derrick case, police supposed to be investigating. I mean, to me, that's just another nigger. And I don't usually use that term, but you know, when you get a record and all that, you go to jail yourself. You know, it's just another nigga out the way. He just another nigga dead. You're not interested in that child.
Look, a lot of niggas be scared to bust their gun. Them be the ones to get it, cause they didn't want squeeze. Bitch made ass niggas.
Many bounce hits were created here. So much of the culture in New Orleans originated from this small area of the Third Ward, from the Calio to the Magnolia, the Melpomene, and all throughout Chopper City uptown. And as you see, bounce music has spread and infected the world. Now artists like Beyonce and Megan Thee Stallion and Yo Gotti and so many different top tier artists are using the sounds that were created in these New Orleans streets right here.
I love New Orleans and I chose to stay here. And until God showed me another direction he wants me to go, that's when I move. But until then, this is where I'll be, because that's where God placed me at. And no man can take away what God gave to me.
New Orleans and spirits in New Orleans.
What's your intake on that? That's pretty deep.
So whatever you notice, whatever you notice from being here, what do you feel?
Well,
especially going to different other cities in the country.
Absolutely. Well, the spirit of New Orleans rests and lives and breathes within the people who make this city great and who's made it great for over 300 years. We have a responsibility to not only feel that spirit, but to own it and to be a part of it, so that our lives transcend and make New Orleans continue to thrive for generations to come. Yeah. The spirit is real and it's alive and well right here in this moment and at this very time. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
It's a real thing.
No problem.
I believe that. I do.
We think we lose a lot of our New Orleans artists right as they're about to hit and take success. Why would Six Shot go to jail when his record is all over the country? Why does Slim die weeks before his song becomes the #1 song in the country? Why does BTY Young'n get killed before he signs his contract? What do you think it is about the New Orleans artists that we can't, the authentic ones, the street ones, that get the love, that we can't reap the benefits of our hard work and our talents?
You know the streets follow you everywhere you go. And whatever you did in those streets, it's gonna follow you wherever you go.
But why?
We fucked up. That's why we here. That's we fucked up.
What do you think makes us that, gives us that mindset?
I don't know, bro. That's the way we grew up. Our environment, whoever we hung around and learned from.
How can we break this cycle, this mentality, this mind frame of the belligerent, the egotistical, the New Orleans?
How can we? I don't know. That's one for the ages right there, man. Live and you learn, I guess, man.
Do you think New Orleans is a demonic city?
Can be. We all have a good side.
Dear Mama, a film honoring the mothers of my contemporaries and predecessors in the New Orleans music industry that lost their lives to gun violence, and honoring those artists themselves. I personally knew every artist that story was told in this film, except for Lil Derrick, aka Bulletproof, aka the Fifth Hot Boy. But I've watched all of those artists in their plight to have a more successful life, a purpose-driven life, a more fruitful life, using the talents, gifts, and abilities that God gave them to make a better life for themselves and their families. But through music, as we've seen many times, open up so many doors for us to get into different industries and business avenues. And that's the dream all of many aspiring artists have, especially coming from New Orleans. Coming on the heels of Cash Money Records and No Limit Records, we follow the blueprint of Master P, Birdman, and Ronald Williams by getting in the music industry and using that as a segue to make money in so many different other avenues. So to watch these dreams, these careers be cut short, be annihilated by gun violence before they could flourish to their maximum capacity is very hurtful. It was emotionally draining to make this film, as I'm sure it's emotionally draining to watch. But I wanted to give the mothers an avenue to vent, to tell their story, to share their pain. May it be therapeutic, and may be a piece of art that can help others, from artists and family members who's lost loved ones, to deal with the situation, deal with the grief, deal with the sorrow, deal with everything that comes with it. This is a microcosm of a bigger picture of all the mothers who's lost their children, who had to bury their children, whether they lost their children to violence, to some type of harmful way. You know, nobody wants to bury their own children. It's a fear that many New Orleanian mothers and fathers have. And I just wanted to put this piece out there to honor their stories, let their names and their plights live on, so people can learn from it and not make some of the moves that they made, and then make some of the moves that they made that were beneficial, so you can learn from these artists. And may this trend not continue, because hip-hop was created as a tool, as an avenue, as a vicegerent for us to get our message out, for us to better our lives, for us to inspire others and change the conditions that we were in the hood. But now it's been weaponized. It's been a means of self-destruction for our own people, our own creators, and we're the ones that least benefit from it financially. And we see there's a lot of rumblings and a lot of talks and a lot of awakening of what's going on the financial side of artists not being compensated properly for their art. But the art that's being propagated and promoted and put in the mainstream from our people is the music that's not uplifting and not bringing us to our higher selves and consciousness on a higher frequency. So in order for these stories not to happen and continue, because they're happening all over the world, where mothers are burying their rapper sons, artist sons due to violence, we got to change the music, we got to change the culture, we got to change that which we consume. My name is Zul Karnain. Thank you for watching the project, the film, and this is in honor of all the mamas who've lost their loved ones, their children that they bore and that they carried in their wombs, and that they had to put them in the tombs, put them in the graves. Thank y'all. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. I want to end it with saying I made this film. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. May Allah guide us all nearer to the way of truth in this, and a way of life that is better for us all to have success in this life and the next life. I mean, thank y'all. Have $1 million day.
Tag along, bicycle ride through Babylon. They burning it down like the Amazon. In prime time on your camera phone. They shoot us with nobody camera on. Treat the black man like a vagabond. They demons with devils for chaperones. On Nip we continue the marathon. And what do we want? What do we want? We want it now. We want it now. What do we want? What do we want? We want it now. We want it now. What do we want? What do we want? We want it now. We want it now. What do we want? What do we want? We want it now. We want it now. What do we want? What do we want? We want it now. We want it now. What do we want? What do we want? We want it now. We want it now. What do we want? What do we want? We want it now. We want it now. What do we want? What do we want? We want it now. We want it now. Sacrifice, go through hell to get to paradise. The promised land is up for grabbing rights. Only thing in our way is the Canaanites. Present day we fight. Racist whites, God raise us up, but base the whites. They hate us and now they gon' pay the price. Islam is the best way of life. We were kings and queens in palaces. Lost it because of arrogance. Pharaohs were black, Hebrews were black, Moses was blacker than